Hi everyone, so this is the second video that you may have missed from TV as we didn't get our second show in there. So this is using the holiday wreath, which is this one here. And also we are going to use festive fragrance, which has been really popular, and also a little bit of the snowdrift one in the centre. So just to show you that you can actually use these wreaths to sort of house all your other little stamps and things as well. So this is the one that we're going to be doing today, or something very similar. I do like the fact that they're not always going to be the same. So we have used, again, the removable tape transfer pen from Stix 2 that's on the website on the back of the stencil to hold it in place. So this one, because it's not quite as delicate as the last one, we're going to rub on the back with some wax paper. So you could also use a tumble dryer sheet as well. So just feel for all those little areas and just rub over the top. Now this one gives you quite a bit of versatility as well, because you've also got the little beading on there. So on this I only chose to do the ribbons, emboss the ribbons. This is a step that you can miss out, so you don't actually have to do this. Now if once you've rubbed over with your wax paper you actually struggle to see the image through, then the easiest way is to either put it on a light box and use your embossing tool, or take it to your window. Hopefully you'll get a brighter day than we've got here. But yes, and then you'll be able to actually see through the actual card, and you'll see your design showing up on there. And then just roughly emboss around the edges here. So always use your bigger embossing tool first, and then followed by your smaller ones later. So I've already started this, as you can see, because it just makes life a little bit quicker for me while I'm doing the video. So I'm not going to emboss this as much as I would normally. I'm just sort of going to find some of these edges now with the smaller embossing tool. And again, the card the stencil is stuck to the front of the cardstock as well with this removable adhesive tape runner, so we can actually just peel that off afterwards. But embossing it actually sort of locks the cardstock into place in the front of your card, so it actually helps when you're rubbing the ink on the front not to actually get the ink underneath. So the first thing we're going to do is just start, and you'll see I've not done this bit, so again it gives you complete flexibility. And also these little beaded chains, we haven't done those either, but you can have all of it. You could just have the beaded chains, you can leave the bow out. And also in the middle here, if you did want to leave the bow out, if you just put your embossing tool in the middle of this little hole here, it will allow you to just move the stencil around. So instead of having the bow, you could put another one of the little ribbons in place. So it's actually very versatile. So we're going to start, and I'm going to use a little bit of bark ink in this one. So just sort of blend just over the top with your little baby wipe. So this isn't quite as delicate, there's not as many little parts in this one, so this is a lot easier to do just with the baby wipe rather than a brush. But sometimes you just want a little bit of delicate, don't you, as well? So just blend straight over the top like this. So I want this to look, if you look at the actual ribbon design on this, it's actually designed to look like it's wrapped around the wreath itself. So we want to sort of give a little bit of highlight. So I'm starting with the palest brown that I'm going to use first. And then what we're going to do is just darken that up around the edges with a little bit of pine cone. So this one's bark, and then we're just going to add a little bit more sort of definition with a slightly darker colour as well. Okay, so you see we're just sort of avoiding those little areas where the little balls are. If you feel happier, you could actually just tape those up. But to be honest, because you're going to be stamping over the top of it, I don't really think it matters as much. So can you see we're just going to sort of darken just the edges here. So where it would be sort of wrapped around the card, we're just going to start to darken those little edges with the pine cone here. And in the middle of your bow where you'd get a little bit of shadow. So this is going to take a little bit longer than the last one, but I just want to show you how to sort of really make this pop. So I'm going to take a little bit longer on this one, although it's not too long. Okay, so you can see we're just sort of shading, and straight away you can see it just gives it that little bit more definition there, and just gives it a little bit more dimensional look to it. Okay, so let's leave it there. So we don't need to do too much in there. And then we can just peel this off the front. Okay. And that leaves you this beautiful sort of background there for your stamps to go onto. Okay, so I'm trying to rub a little bit of ink off there I've got on the edges. Like I said, if you want to be more careful than I am, you know what I'm like, you can actually just put a bit of tape or a bit of paper around the edges so you don't get anything anywhere. Okay, so what we're going to put onto this now is some of the Festive Fragrance, one of my favourite stamps on here, and I think it's probably, judging by the sort of feedback we've had, this is probably one of your favourites as well. So we're going to put in the little orange segments. So for this, I'm actually going to use cocoa. Because actually, once the oranges are baked, they do take on this slightly darker colour. And bright orange is not particularly one of my favourite colours, so we've gone for a more subtle sort of look. And again, just let the ink run out on the stamp. So you'll have this in sort of the background of your design as well. So I'm going to put some up near the bow, but I've just taken off a little bit of the ink so it's not too dark. And this looks really cute with a little bit of glossy accents on the top as well with this. So let's add some of the fir cones in there. So I'm going to go with pine cone. I'm just going to add some of these in. So this is our snowy pine cones. This is our open pine cone design. And then what we'll do is add in the solid version of this as well. Okay, so again, we're just using pine cone. Just like this, and don't be frightened as well if you want to sort of stamp over where you've embossed, that's absolutely fine as well. Just make sure that you've pressed hard enough on there. Okay, and then we're going to start to add some little greens and things in as well into this. So we're going to bring in a little bit of the tattered poinsettia as well, and also in this set we have the little tiny cinnamon bundles, which are really, really cute. So you could do an awful lot with this set. It's a very, very cute design. Okay, so let's just find a couple of spaces and just pop those in as well. Well, like I said, this has probably been one of the most popular sets that we've done, this one this time. So let's have that one just about there. Let's just have two. That'll do us. But you could, like I said, have the little baubles hanging down from here if you wanted to. It is entirely up to you. So we're going to put some little holly leaves in as well. So this will just help to fill out the design. And you can put as much or as little in as you want. So if you want this to be sort of quite empty looking, you know, not too many stamps, then it's entirely up to you. And like I said, the stencil actually gives you quite a lot of leeway because you can use some of it, all of it. It's entirely up to you how you do it. So all the way around, and you'll see I'm just rotating and not sort of re-inking every time. So you've got this lovely sort of random look to this. You don't want all your leaves and your flowers going in exactly the same direction. So once you've not got a lot of ink over on your actual stamp, then you can just start to just stamp straight over those ribbons, because anything that's dark, you know, will just stay in the foreground. So you can quite happily just over stamp with paler ink like I'm doing there, just until you've got this full looking wreath here. So once you've done that, what we're going to do is put a tiny little scene in the middle here. So I've got my piece of paper ready, again with a little bit of removable adhesive on the back of that, just so it holds it in place while you work, so you don't have to worry about it moving. So I'm going to use a little bit of bark. So we're going to pop this all over. A little watering can. And then we're going to use a little bit of pine cone just around the outside. And again, this is a similar thing to what we were doing when we were doing the ribbons. It just means you've got a little bit of highlight, gives it a little bit more dimension. So we're going to stamp that in the middle. And because this has already got sort of a built-in little hill in the design, we don't need to worry about the paper at this point. So we're just going to stamp this one straight down. So just like that. Okay. And then, because I want to put some more things here, I'm just going to use the bit of paper just to give us another little bit of land here like that. And again, normally I would use blues and browns and blacks in here, but we're just going to, sorry, blues and blacks, but we're just going to use a little bit of the brown that we've already used just to give us a little bit of a hill. So just so it sort of still blends, I don't want to be using any colours in there that are not going to match. Now, what we're going to do with these little robins that we've got here is add two colours to them. So I'm going to have these sitting on top of the little watering can. So my first step is to go all over the front of the robin with the red. So this is burgundy actually. And then I'm going to use the pine cone and we're just going to work all the way around it and just try and leave some of that red in place here. This is quite a wet ink, so I'm just hoping that it's not going to be too wet. So let's just stamp our little robin here. Like that, and then you've got his two colours on there, which is ever so cute. So we do the same with this one. So your red first. So always use your palest colour first, and then you're not going to mucky that ink. And it's a good idea, unlike me, to make sure that your stamp has actually been cleaned beforehand, and then you're not going to get any unwanted sort of brown in your red. Okay, so the same goes here. Let's put our little robin here, like that. And then what we can do, we can use some of those little stamps that we were using before, just to sort of fill in the areas at the back here. So let's get some holly and we can just start to add this in. Now of course you can put some of the little animals and things in here. Let's use my one that's a bit wetter. So you can use whatever you want in this, it's up to you. And I love the fact that you're almost sort of telling little stories in here as well, which is really, really lovely to do. And you'll sort of lose yourself. That's what I like about stamping, especially at the moment. I think that's what a lot of us are quite happy to do. Just get lost in a little bit of creativity. Okay, shall we add a little flower in there as well? Why not? Let's go for brown. So let's pop one just about there like that. And let's see if we can find the little ones. So this is from the Tattered Poinsettia. So we're just going to add a couple of little flowers as well, just in the background there. And then when we peel this hill away, we have got our lovely little snowy hill. So any glue residue, we'll just wipe off there like that. And then we're going to put a little bit of glitter on this. So just in this middle panel here, I'm just using a quickie glue pen, which is also on the website. And then we're going to pop in a little bit of glitter. Okay. So last but not least, a few little berries. So in fact, you just go around with a little bit of brown, a little bit of red, whatever it is you want to use. I'm just sticking with the browns that we've got. But because we've got the little red breasts on the robins there as well, there is nothing stopping you putting lovely little red berries in here because it will coordinate beautifully with the card. Okay, so just a few little dots. And also a lovely thing that you can do is to put a little bit of glitter on the oranges because it looks like frosting. So if you just take your glue pen, I don't do all of it, but if you just go around the white here like this, like that, and then just add a little bit of your glitter, it gives you that little bit of frosting just on the top there. So I hope you can see that there. Okay, so that is our holiday wreath. So I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry it's a bit of a long one, but there's a bit more to this one. And it does quite a lot of things. So thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye.